Hi Annie, it is time for lesson number 3 and today is cabbage soup. I would say this is probably pretty much Travis's favorite soup that I made all the time when he was growing up, and today is perfect because it's a rainy kind of day, and that was my favorite time to make soup, was always on a rainy day or on a Monday is when I would always, when Travis was little and growing up, that's the day I would get out all my ingredients from the fridge, see what I had, and make a soup. And for this one, I usually come and get my recipe, and I was looking in this book. This is like the Mennonite cookbook, and so this would have been like a Mennonite soup called like a borscht, a cabbage borscht, or kumps borscht. What a weird word. Anyway, it would be in this book where you would find the recipe, but I never used a recipe for this one. This one I just know off by heart, and I just make it my way. So when people ask me for the recipe, it's tricky on this one. But I'm just gonna get my ingredients going, and I'm gonna get started. So I put ground beef in this one. I'll show you how I fry that up. Some people use beef, but I use the ground beef. We got our cabbage, that's the most important part, and the carrots, that's the cabbage borscht. Onion, garlic. I got my broths again. This time I have a beef broth and a vegetable broth. I'm not sure which one I'll use yet, or maybe a little bit of both. We got our canned tomatoes, my salsa, dill, parsley, and I had some extra peppers in the fridge, so that's what I'm going to put in. And that's what I mean when I say I just pull out what I have in my fridge, see what I have, and make a soup from it. And then also I like to put in like some lentils or something like that. So I have some lentils as well. Okay, so I'm going to get things started, and I will be back in a minute, and we will get going on the cabbage soup. So I'm going to call this one, I call it hamburger soup, cabbage soup, or kumps borscht. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but let's just call it Travis's favorite soup. Okay, we'll see you soon. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is how I brown the ground beef. So this is a step that whenever I go grocery shopping and buy a big package of ground beef, I come home and usually do this right away. I brown all the ground beef. I don't use it all in the soup, but I brown it and I put it in the freezer, and it's ready for when I need it. So I just take the raw ground beef, and I have this little Tupperware container that I use, and it has holes here for draining the fat. And so I just microwave this for 6 minutes, and that's going to get the ground beef nice and brown. And then all the fat is going to drip and drain into this section, and then I throw that part away, and then my ground beef is ready to go. So this, I'm just spreading it out so that we can brown it. So I'm going to do that part first, and like I say, I'm going to put it in the microwave for 6 minutes. Okay, so I put the lid on and we'll stick it in. Whoops, did you see that? That went flying. Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to let that brown. Okay, so the chopping of the vegetables. This time I'm going to be using this machine, and this is my KitchenAid, and I've had it for about 25 years, so it's a little rundown, but it still works if you hold it exactly right. But I'm going to chop my vegetables in here, and it goes way faster. So I'm going to just show you that I take this attachment for doing the onions. So I've got my onion here, and I'm just going to put it into big chunks like this, throw it in, and you put the lid on. And like I say, I have to hold it exactly right or it's going to go everywhere. I'm going to just chop it up like that. And that's done perfectly. Okay, and I'm going to just put that into the pot. just like that. And we're gonna just check the ground beef. So I'll just show you, I'm just gonna check and see how it's doing. And I had that going for about 6 minutes. And you can see that it's pretty much brown. So I'm gonna just separate it a little bit. It's pretty much ready, but I'm gonna put it in just for 1 more minute. Like so. And then we're gonna chop some carrots. So for the carrots, I have to use this attachment and I'm gonna grate it. So I'm gonna put it in this way so that the attachment for the carrot piece, like that, go like this. And we'll just put the carrots in like this. And again, I have to hold it. Okay, I just got to grab that attachment for this. Hang on 1 sec. Okay, I have this part of the attachment and that just goes like this. Oh, hang on. This guy sometimes comes apart. We just got to get him back in the right position. Like I say, this is a very old machine, but it still works. I'm gonna put the carrots back in, hold it just right. Perfect. So you can see how that makes just such a beautiful grated carrot. Okay, so that goes in the pot. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the cabbage, but with the cabbage I have to switch it so that it grates this bigger. I don't want the cabbage too shredded too finely, so I just switch it to this setting. Just cut my cabbage a little bit. I'll just back this up so you can see. I'm just going to go like this. Just cut one section. Okay, so I put that part in like that. And you can see that the cabbage is so shredded beautifully. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to chop up the rest and then I'll show you a picture of it when it's done. Okay. Okay, so I have got all my vegetables chopped and I took a picture and I will show you the picture, but they are all my cabbage, my carrots, my peppers, everything is chopped in here. And so now I'm going to turn it on and I like to just fry it up a little bit just to get the flavors out of the onion. So I just put a little bit of oil in. I don't measure. I just dump a bunch in and then just start to stir and let the flavors kind of blend together a little bit. And this little tool, my grandpa Dell used to have a woodworking shop and he liked to make wooden things, and this is from a treasure from him. So I like to use this when I'm making soup. Makes me think about my Grandpa Dell. And I'm just going to get that stirring. Okay, we're going to let that just blend a little bit. And I'll just show you my ground beef is all nice and brown. I did the whole package. So I don't need this much for the soup, but I just put it all in a bowl. I use what I need for this soup, like let's say maybe 2 cups. And then the rest I put into 2-cup containers and I stick them in the freezer. So next time it's ready and I don't have to do that step. But the fat that drained, it's this very hot fat. I do not put this down my drain because that is going to solidify once it cools. So I just put that into a container like this. I just let that cool. And then when it solidifies, then I just throw it in the garbage so it doesn't wreck my sink. Okay, so that's the next part. That's we're getting there. We are getting there. Okay, we are definitely getting there. Okay, so another secret to this soup that is so amazing is that I have this little thing that's called a spice ball. And this is used to get the flavors into the soup. And this is from Travis's great grandma Dick. She lived till 101, and this is the one that she used in all of her soups. So when people tell me my soup tastes great, I always say it's because I use great grandma Dick's spice ball. So what I put in here is I just collect some spices. I have star anise. Put some in. I always put in a bay leaf, maybe some garlic. I have garlic on hand, so I can just put it right in because this isn't going into the soup. It all stays in here and the flavors just seep out. I'm going to put in some dill. Just put that in, and I'm going to put in a little bit of parsley. So that's how I do that, and I just put it all in. And close it up, and that is the spice ball, and it just goes right in the soup. It cooks with the soup the whole time. Sometimes I leave it in like till the next day just so that all the flavors can melt and blend in. And then I take it out after that and throw away the inside part. I'm going to add my beef broth now. I've got my cabbage. I'll just show you this part. The cabbage is all cooked down. The peppers and onions smell amazing, so I'm going to put that in. I'm going to add my beef broth and dump that all in. Okay, and then this is the part where I add some lentils, or whatever I have on hand. If I have some kind of barley or lentils or beans, I always like to put a little bit in. I don't measure, just put a little bit in, and I just stir it in. And now we're going to let this boil. We're going to soften and cook those beans and let everything, all the flavors mix together. So this is going to take about 15-20 minutes, so I'm just going to put that on medium. I'm going to let that do its thing, and then we'll do the last part once that's fully cooked. Everything is mixed together. Okay, this is the last part. So I've got that all cooked, and it smells amazing. And so I have my ground beef, so I'm going to put in just a couple of cups of ground beef. Stir that in. That's what makes it hamburger soup or cabbage soup or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to add half a tin of crushed tomatoes. Stir that in. That looks good. And then the last secret ingredient is my salsa. So I brought a few jars of salsa down to Guatemala. If Travis is willing to share with you to make this soup, he's going to have to decide. I know he doesn't want to waste any drop of the salsa that actually makes it from my house to Guatemala, but you'll have to tell him if he wants it to taste like home, he's going to have to give up at least half a jar. I always put like this whole jar in, and that's what makes it taste like my soup because it's my salsa. So I'll let you guys figure that piece out, but for here, I put in the whole jar, and it looks amazing. Okay, I'm going to show it to you. And that turned out so beautiful, and I'm just going to let that all heat through, and that is our soup, and it's going to be good. So I hope you enjoy. Yay, Yenny, we did it. That is Travis's favorite soup, so have fun with that.